how you can handle the storm that you're experiencing in your life. Hello to those of you that are watching this video, that are watching this replay. I would love for you all to say hi. I would like for you all to pop some comments in, pop some reactions. I enjoy that throughout the Instagram live. Hello. Hello to those of you that are watching. So, one step that you can take to experience more ease, to experience more peace, one step and how you can handle the storm that's in your life is God. Now, there's many different steps. There's so many different steps that you can take. There's different tools, there's affirmations, there's things you can repeat to yourself, you can rewire your brain, you can process your emotions and all those different things. And I teach some of those things as well because they're important. And one of the most powerful and impactful tool that I know how to utilize, or that I've been utilizing, that I feel can surpass all of that is God. Because when you're in the midst of a storm and you're holding on by the claws of your hands, how many people have experienced that in their life? Go ahead and type me in the comments. If you've experienced a storm in your life, go ahead and put some reactions. And you are holding on for dear life is what it feels like. You're really confused why people are just really testing your patience in all different areas of your life, and you feel like you just feel really annoyed, you feel really aggravated, you're unclear on why these different things are happening, and you're at home and your husband's really testing your patience, and then your kids are really testing your patience, and then you maybe go to work or you're in your business and just things feel off there, and then you go home and you feel off when you look in the mirror and you're not speaking as kindly to yourself, right? So it feels like this wild storm that you're on, and there are tools, again, there are many different tools that we can go through that help you throughout this, but one of the best tools is God. Because He will guide you on what to do. And what He told me recently is that, and maybe He's saying this to you as well, the reason that you're going through all the storms is that He's prepping you for something even greater. He's testing your patience. He's testing your character. He's testing who you are being amongst the storm. And He's also saying, hey, rely on me. You're trying to handle everything on your own. And you can upstream it for some time. I got this. Oh yeah, I'll just go this way. Oh yeah, I know what to do. And then eventually, right? Go ahead and pop me. Go ahead and put some comments in. You're paddleboarding, and you maybe get a hole in your boat. And you're like, oh my gosh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll just put a patch on it. And then eventually there's like all these different patches and you're like, what's going on? Because God guided you to get on the boat. And so God guided you to get on the boat, but there's holes now that are coming in the boat, and you're like, God, what is going on? You wanted me to get on the boat, and the boat can be life. And now there's all these different holes that are popping up, and I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why my husband is pissing me off. I don't understand why my kids are just being annoying. I don't understand why this is going on in work. I don't understand why I'm feeling so frustrated. And it's because, it could be for many different reasons, and maybe this relates to you as well. This is what God told me, so I'm going to relate it to you because maybe it relates to you as well. It's because He's prepping you for something so much greater. And the so much greater is what you've been praying for. Right? If you've been praying praying for more peace, God will put you in, this is something I'm still digesting, but God will put you in circumstances that will allow you to test your faith in Him to experience more peace, to give other people grace, or to stand up for yourself. Maybe you want to be more confident. God's going to put you in different circumstances. I think, let's talk about this, to have you trust in Him even more than yourself. And it's not discrediting you because you are amazing and you are awesome. It's that you can only upstream paddle the boat on your own for so long. And so it's, how long are you going to upstream paddle until you're like, okay, I'm done. I need you, God. How many of you have had that feeling before? Go ahead and pop me. Go ahead and put some comments in. You're like, this is way too much for me to handle on my own. And maybe this is your first time realizing that as well, which is beautiful, that you do not have to handle the storm of what's going on in your life on your own, because you always have God that's with you. And it might seem, it might seem really, really, really frustrating why you're going through the storms. Why do I have to go through this? Because God is funny. I was talking with my grandpa about this, where God is humorous. And my grandpa was like, well, He created humor. I was like, that's true. God is funny. And God is going to talk to you in ways that are going to be different in how He talks to me. And then how He talks to Randy, and how He talks to Chrissy, and how He talks to Michelle, and how He talks to Lorraine, how He talks to Mimi, right? He's going to talk to each of us differently based on also our relationship with Him. So something that happened the other day, God is funny. I was driving home, and I think I've been experiencing some overthinking and, things of that nature, which has not been very common for me recently. And so I've been experiencing that, and I heard God tell me, that's Him growing me in that capacity. I'm like, okay. And I can't remember what happened yesterday, but God communicates to me a part of it through light. So you guys see that on the story, and I have a slide, and that was on the story post. So through blinking lights. So I had asked Him, I was like, I'd really love to see a sign from you. And He showed me that. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I felt a lot of relief. And then there's been these unexpected things that have been popping up in my life. and God last night, He had shown me a light. Long story short, He had shown me a light previously in one spot, and I saw the light again. So I was like, okay, cool. I know that's God. And I was like, you're really funny. Like, you're really funny. You're really, really, really testing my patience, testing my ability, testing what I thought I knew, testing what I felt like I was told, testing my comfort zone, testing what I feel like I like to do. And now you're wanting me to invest in all these different things or do all these different things. And it doesn't make logical sense. I'm like, how does that even make logical sense, right? So these can be conversations that you're having with God amongst different storms in your life. It doesn't make logical sense. It can feel so confusing to the point where it's humorous. And God, in some way, God is humorous, right? He created humor. So He's going to talk to you different than how He's going to talk to me. Maybe for you, He's a little bit more like, let's get your S together, right? Maybe He's a little bit more direct. Maybe He's a little bit more comforting and calm. Maybe He is, that's a part of building your own relationship with God. So I encourage you to explore that. But the one step that I know how, amongst the tools, amongst everything, which is so awesome and important, I did one today. And I was like, it'd be really cool to have a punching bag right now because that's how I'm feeling. So the one ultimate tool, the one ultimate step in how to handle the storm is God. And so God is bringing you through these different storms for you for different reasons. I don't know the exact reason. That's a conversation for you to have with God. And I encourage you, when you talk to God, just notice if there's a higher voice. Notice if there's a knowing. Notice if you feel pulled towards something. Notice if you just feel this ease, this peace. That can come from God. So just notice how God will communicate to you. And you can even pray and ask God, God, can you please show me a way where it's really clear for me to know that you're communicating to me? You can ask God that. And he is awesome, and he will show you that. So practice that when it comes to talking with God in regards to handling the storm in your life. And he'll guide you. He'll guide you along the journey. He's going to tell you things that don't make sense right now. He's going to tell you things that do not make logical sense. He's going to tell you things that just might annoy you or just might be confusing, or you're going to be in the circumstances and just feel like, why is all this happening to me? I don't understand why all this is happening to me. When, can I catch a break? Has anyone ever felt that? Can I catch a break? Because I'm one hair away from going off on this person, or whatever the case may be, right? So this is why God is so good, because he will navigate you and guide you in the direction that you're meant to go, and also the process that you're meant to experience. So for me, for example, something that came up is I felt the feeling today within myself of kind of not feeling as grounded. So what that means is, and that can look different for different people, but I was kind of I wasn't in my body. I was more in my head. So I didn't feel as clear, and kind of overthinking and, those kind of things. So I felt within myself, okay, I really want to scream. I really want to punch. I really want to release something in that way. But now I have more responsibility. I have tenants to be aware of. I have people that are closer to me in regards to hearing wise, neighbors, to where I can't just, scream. I want to be considerate as well. So there's all these different factors. There's more responsibilities now that you want to do, or that, you want to do. And it's molding you into now more of testing your patience in how can you practice things that you've known to help you even amongst this, and let's make it a little bit harder, right? So I'll share this. For example, in the place that I used to live, because as you all see, I've moved. I'm in a different location. And so in the place that I used to live, I, could scream and do whatever, and because it just, maybe one, I didn't really care, or I just did it. And now, again, there's more responsibility, there's more consideration in timing and all those different factors. So how can you still, and again, this is going to be your own journey with God in regards to what he's guiding you to do. But how can you still, one, talk to God in regards to, and listen? I think that's a big thing. We like to talk to God, but do we like to listen to God? Because that's different. When we talk to God, And maybe you're someone that does this, which it's not about shaming yourself, but when we're always talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and we don't actually take time to sit still and listen, that's where you build a relationship with God even further, is by listening to what he's telling you. And most of the time, at least for me, it's very comforting. It's very comforting. So listen, if you talk, listen. Okay. So I felt this nudge within myself that I felt like I wanted to scream. I felt like I wanted to practice emotional regulation tools, which those help you basically process how you feel. They allow you to feel more calm. And so I felt within myself, I really wanted to scream. I wanted to punch. I wanted to do these different things, really scream. But I have more responsibility now, right? So maybe this is you, where you're in a point where you're in your life and, you have a husband, you have kids, you have animals, you have pets, you have neighbors, you have tenants, whatever it is. And you're not living on your own, or you're not single anymore, or, whatever it is. And you have these higher responsibilities, which are beautiful, but it's how can you, it's almost a test in some ways, where how can you still practice these sort of tools? How can you still talk to God and trust where he's guiding you? So what was guided by me, which I did not want to do, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go punch pillows. I didn't want to go scream. I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to, I just wanted to eat and continuously move about my day, eat breakfast, and just keep going. But I did it because I just kept feeling that nudge, and I just kept feeling that there's a point where you reach, you're I'm just so fed up right now, I need to do something, right? And we reached that point. Go ahead and put some reactions in or some comments in where you're I am so fed up, and you need to do something, because if not, your actions then start impacting other people. And I think that's what's really important about getting more clear, or at least visualizing daily who you want to be and the life you want to live. Because if you don't go to God about it, or if you don't regulate your emotions, which is another thing that I teach, which we'll kind of get to a little bit, but if you don't practice some way to calm yourself, and calming yourself does not mean taking, and I don't want to crumple a piece of paper, but taking all your emotions and stuffing it in a closet. That's not what that means. That's not calm. Calm is, okay, you're actually digesting, you're sitting with what's coming up. And we can get into that as well. But digesting, meaning that you're actually feeling it in your body. You're processing it from your mind, soul, body, all one experience, to where you feel calm. So it's not throwing it away or shoving it away and saying, I'm going to deal with this later. And then it just keeps piling up. And you're well, why does it keep piling up? I keep stuffing it down. Well, similar to a volcano, eventually it's going to erupt. So when you intentionally, and I'm kind of going a little off track here, but when you intentionally allow yourself to erupt in a healthy way, that's how you no longer erupt on your husband, your kids, your employees, your coworkers, all those different things. So, and that's a part of what we teach in the Maison. So, see, just taking a deep breath, so you feel more calm. So when it comes to experiencing more calmness, when it comes to, what's the word I want to use? When it comes to being at that level where you feel like you are at your capacity, you are about to scream. One, recognizing that how cool it is. Yeah, exactly. How cool it is that you now have more responsibilities. Like, you get to have more responsibilities. You get to be more considerate. You get to be in a space where you're surrounded by family. You get to be in a space where you're considering your pets. You get to be in a space where you're considering your children. You get to be in a space where you're considering your husband, because some people don't have those things, or some people no longer have those things in the 3D. So you get to have those things. You get to, and when you're going along the journey of life, when you're building your relationship with God, just recognizing that those tests can almost feel like they're getting harder, but that's God molding you into who you're meant to be in this next season. That's God prepping you for even more. So for those of you that are watching live or watching this replay where you feel like there's a storm that's going on in your life and you're confused and you don't know why, again, talk to God about it in regards to your why, and it can be different reasons for why. But what he told me, that I'm also telling you, is that he's prepping you for something even, maybe I saw it in a video. I don't know. I can't remember. But he's prepping you for something even greater. He's prepping your nervous system. He's prepping who you're becoming for even more goodness, for even more beauty in your life. And when we avoid the feeling part, this is where people get stuck. You get stuck because you ask God for a prayer and he's like, okay, I'm going to give you that prayer, but we're also going to shape your character in the process, so that way when you get the prayer, you can actually hold the prayer and you don't sabotage the prayer. But we don't want to go through the becoming of who we are becoming in that process. So then we get mad at God and we're like, God's not answering my prayer. But you're actually just not wanting to go through the process of who you're meant to become in this season. And so it's also not about shaming yourself. It's not about going, oh, bleep, that is me. But it's about recognizing that cycle can, like, that's how people can get stuck in cycles where that's just kind of their life. And they get mad at God, or they get upset at God, or they can't hear God, whatever it is. They get mad at God and they're like, why is the prayer not being answered? Because God's trying to shape you into who you are meant to be in this season. So that way when the prayer comes, you can actually hold it and enjoy it. Versus getting it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And your nervous system freaks out and then you sabotage it. So how's that for a Wednesday morning? So a lot. Then I say I turn it all over to him. Yeah, so this is what's really powerful about, and what God led me to today about emotional regulation tools. And when I say that, it's like, what does that even mean? What is emotional regulation tools? Basically, emotional regulation tools are practical tools that anyone can utilize to feel more calmness physically in your body, okay? So I'll go through this kind of quickly, but we have two main, within our nervous system, we have the parasympathetic nervous system and we have the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is helpful for when you're in danger. And it was predominantly used by our ancestors, for example, to run away from T-Rexes or to run away from tigers. So it's the fight, like we're gonna defend, we're gonna fight. There's flight, so we need to literally get out of here and go run to that cave so we don't get eaten, or freeze. Okay, let's play dead, right? And you actually see animals do this as well. So that's within us. And now we've evolved so much, and this inspiration also comes from Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And now we've evolved so much as a species to where there is not T-Rexes. And we are predominant, like we are not hunted. There's not tigers that are, at least where I am, like just kind of roaming around, right? So we are predominantly safe physically from predators, but our body is not, like it doesn't have awareness of it because it's so used to that program. It's so used to, let me make sure that I am surviving. So when you feel like you want to yell at your husband, or you feel like you want to, freeze, or you feel like you can't speak, it's actually, like, even notice within an animal who's being hunted, like when you feel really, I was thinking about this the other day, when you, and I was so excited to share this. So when you feel like you're being hunted, like prey, for example, notice how, think of a panther, and they're kind of like, prowling about the bushes, and, they're kind of sniffing around, and maybe like you're a little hedgehog and just think of the hedgehog. I don't know what they do. This is me assuming, but like a hedgehog will hold its breath. So what do we feel like we do? Like, catch yourself doing this. Most of the time when we are talking with coworkers, or we're talking with our husband, or you're talking with your kids, you're talking with your employees, and you feel either really stressed out, or you feel really annoyed, you feel really triggered, what do? Hold your breath. Hold your breath as a way of protection almost, but it's not. But that's what our bodies, and kind of even through evolution, have gotten so used to doing, but we don't need that anymore. So it's actually about training ourselves, training with the paddle, with that paddle boat, not necessarily a paddle boat, but with the boat, with the holes. Yeah, we're going through some training, and it's not easy. Like, it's hard. It is hard. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a deep breath and parasympathetic nervous system activated, right? Like for me, it takes me, and it's beautiful, multiple, depending on what's going on, but like multiple times, predominantly throughout the day, regulating my nervous system. So it's not just a one-time thing where you breathe for 3 inhales in and inhales out, and you're like, cool, I'm great for the day, or why is this not working? It is important to do throughout the day. So that way you are literally telling your body, telling yourself on a cellular level, on a within your nervous system, it's okay for me to feel safe amongst calmness. Okay? So there's different tools you can do that. There's different ways that you can activate your parasympathetic nervous system. We won't go too deep into that. But for example, something that I did today is you can punch pillows, you can scream into pillows. Like if you're feeling, ooh, really, I want to scream, I want to yell it out, I want to yell at my husband, go ahead and punch some pillows. That can be really helpful. And even think about what you would want to tell them. Or if something really traumatic happened to you, or if something really annoying happened to you and you want to process that, punch some pillows and think about the experience. Think about what you would say and say it. Now, I typically recommend doing these in the privacy of your own space, so that way you're not putting that energy, you're not exuding that onto like, okay, husband, come watch me. Like, maybe that's, your own conversation you can have. Maybe you guys can do together, I don't know. But I recommend doing it on your own, so that way you're not impacting other people that you care for. Like, you love your husband, you love your children, you appreciate your coworkers. So, and when you think about who you want to be, it doesn't have to be this ice queen. And maybe sometimes you're an ice queen, but predominantly you don't want to rule from that space. You don't want to impact people from a space of hurting them. And when you start to notice that, that's a great signpost to lean on God and have him guide you for where or what he would like you to do. And maybe that's emotional regulation tools for you in that moment. And sometimes it's letting things go. And we could go into so many different conversations with this, so I'm going to try to stay on task. So letting go is also it's also, you have standards, but yeah, we're not going to go too deep into that. So, well, I just want to say this, but letting go is basically I'm going to honor that. Okay, so those are some ways that you can start to feel more calm within yourself. So that's when you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which basically means you feel in your body ease and peace. So the parasympathetic nervous system is rest and digestion. That's when you feel calm. That's why after you have a really good cry, which I'm sure you've all experienced this, like you either have a fight with your partner or your husband, and you're crying and you're screaming, and then after you feel great. You're like, I feel like, oh, I really needed that. And you feel more calm, and then you feel connected. You're like, oh, we're better than ever, and all these different things. And then the cycle just continues, and we don't have time to go into how to stop that and all the different things. But when you show up in your life, you owe it to yourself. I'll say this. You are deserving of feeling calm. You're deserving of feeling calm with yourself. You're deserving of feeling calm around your husband, around your partner, around your coworkers, around your kids, around your neighbors. You're deserving of feeling calm. And through God and whatever he guides you to do, and again, for me today, that was the emotional regulation tool. So I punched some pillows and screamed to some pillows. I'd kick some pillows. I wish I had a punching bag today. I was like, ooh, boxing would be cool, right? So it's like, ooh, what about a punching bag in my my workout space? So yeah, so God will guide you in regards to that. So just be open to listening and be open to even trusting yourself. If you feel within yourself, okay, I'm talking to God, I can't hear God, but I'm feeling really annoyed, maybe try that out as well too. But the point that I want to make today is that one step you can take to handle the storm that's going on in your life as you're paddling, and the holes are coming up, in order to put some sturdy patches in the boat and for you to actually have some smoother waters, even if there's still the storm that's going on in the background, for you to start sailing more smoothly, talk to God. Talk to God, because that is the biggest and best way that I know how to handle anything in life. Anxiety, confusion, overthinking, worry, anything. Give it to God and practice listening and ask him how like to give you clarity on hearing him. Maybe it comes through a sign. Maybe it comes through a butterfly. Maybe it comes through a voice. Maybe it comes through a video that you're seeing on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. Maybe it's this video. Maybe it's through a person that you are talking to in person and they give you some words of wisdom and you're like, oh, that's exactly what I was talking with God about, right? Like all of that is God. So ask for clarity and God will always show up for you, because I saw this as well. God's not outside of the storm. Like God's in it with you. God's in that boat with the holes with you. And he's got a paddle too. And it might feel like he's not there, but he's there. He's there. He's there because he's always been there. That is the one person beauty that will always, aside from yourself, that will always be there for you. Always. And of course, we love family, we love friends. That's very helpful to have that. And God will provide you with a level of comfort. Like God will provide you with a level of comfort, a level of ease that you didn't even know was possible for you. That you only thought you didn't even know was a possibility. God will provide that for you. So one step to handle the storm is God. G-O-D, period, on the end. I hope that you all enjoyed this Instagram live. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. This was really fun. Thank you all for participating. You get to see me in different lights as I navigate, I don't know if I want to call it a storm, but my own storm in different ways. And, we're all human. We all go through these different things, but we also get to go through the storm that's prepping you for something even greater. You get to go through the storm that's prepping you for something even greater. So I'm glad that you all, great session, amazing. Thank you for listening. You got to see some of my silly side, and I've just been really expressing all of me, and that feels really good. Just also showing up from that space, and thank you guys for being here and for witnessing and holding me in that as well. So G-O-D is good. I hope that you all have a beautiful day. You're deserving of ease and peace, and I'll see you all next week, next Wednesday, for the Instagram live show. Have a nice one. See you guys.